1 p.m. Eastern, Las Vegas Raiders 2-4, 0-3 on the road at New Orleans Saints 2-5, 1-3 at home. We're at Caesar Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. We will start with the line history here in the Raiders game. This opened with the Raiders as 2.5-point road favorites. Now they're 1-point favorites, and that's juiced at -116. From a total perspective, it opened up at 47, now at 49.5. There were offshores that before the action last week had this at a much lower number. Let's see the cash flow here, and I see Dan Kelly in the house. Raiders, Saints. We have 6,393 tickets in, 50-50 on the ticket count, but 60% of the cash is on the Raiders. And then 25% of tickets and 31% of cash on the under. So some bigger bets coming in on the under, but we're seeing this total fly up now to 49.5. Papa Kyle said the look ahead was at 45.5, and he grabbed it. Nice job, Papa Kyle's. Raiders come in off a 38-20 victory at home over the Texans. Saw them score 21 unanswered in the fourth quarter. Derek Carr was 21-27 for 241 yards and a touchdown, no picks. Devontae Adams caught 8 for 95. Hunter Renfrow caught 3 for 55. And Josh Jacobs turned in another strong performance. It's amazing when a team doesn't pick up your option, what it will do to you. He is playing for a contract, and he's playing very, very well. He ran 20 times for 143 yards, 3 touchdowns, caught 3 passes for 12 yards. He's now run for 100 plus 3 consecutive games. First Raider to rush for more than 100 yards in 3 straight games since Napoleon Kaufman in 1997. 6th player in the past 6 seasons with 300 plus yard rushing games in a row. Raiders finished with a season high 400 yards of offense, but they managed just 1 sack on Mills. They hit him 9 times, but they allowed the Texans to put up a season high 404 yards of offense. Deron Harmon returned an interception, 73 yards for a touchdown. Chandler Jones had his first half sack as a Raider. First half sack. The 108 sacks since entering the league in 2012, and took that long to get him rolling. And how good is Daniel Carlson? I mean, the guy's become automatic. 39 straight field goals since week 8 of last year. Longest active streak in the NFL, 5th longest in history. 5 for 5 in field goals of 50 or more this season. 18-21 on 50 or more since he entered the league in 2018. That's impressive. Saints come in off extra rest after their 42-34 loss to Arizona on Thursday night. They've lost 5 of 6. Andy Dalton, 30-47 for 361 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. 2 of those were returned for touchdowns. He's the 4th quarterback since 2010 to throw 2 picks in the first half. That were 2 pick sixes, I should say. Olave returned from his concussion, caught 7 passes for 106 yards. Juwan Johnson caught 5 passes for 32 yards and 2 touchdowns. We talked about him. We talked about how bad the Cardinals are with their tight ends. Kamara ran 11 times for 49 yards, caught 7 passes for 56 yards. It's possible that the Saints get back Jameis Winston, Jarvis Landry, and Michael Thomas. This team, amazingly, has scored the 3rd most offensive touchdowns in the NFL this year. I mean, they use Taysom Hill. They have all these different looks. They're very creative offensively. Who would have thought when Dennis Allen took over that the team would be so creative offensively and then so bad defensively? But there's excuses. They're missing quarterbacks Marshawn Lattimore with the abdomen injury, Paulson Adebo with the knee, both inactive, Andrews Pete with the chest injury, and of course Landry Thomas and Troutman. And then they lose Roby. He's carted off the field in the first quarter. So they finished with 2 sacks and 2 quarterback hits. But this defense allows 28.6 points per game. Only Detroit is worse than that. Take it away for us here, Andy. This one, 2 very popular football teams, Raiders, Saints.
I just got sent a photo in a chat. My Canadian friend that I mentioned yesterday, he's off vacationing. He took his kid to a Calgary game. They're off in the Prairie provinces. It looks pretty hopping up in there. That might be a stop I get to sometime. But Raiders, this one's easy. I bet the over. I don't know if he still should be betting 50s. It's 50 at Chris now. That makes sense to me. Lattimore matters. The Raiders and Saints are quietly pretty damn close to top 10 offenses. And they are both bottom 10 defenses to me. Some people got 45s on this and like look ahead numbers. I bet 47.5. I laughed. I said, I make this like 49 and change on Sunday. It has moved to 49 and change or better. I'm not so sure people should be grabbing it. I won't make that like an official play because the numbers jump so much, but this over move makes total sense. The Saints have given up 200 points already this year. That's a lot. They're the most in the league, and granted, yes, it's when you start throwing pick sixes, that's not really on your defense. But even if you take some of those out, they're right up there with the worst of them. And it doesn't seem to matter who's injured, who's at quarterback, who's split out wide, or where Taysom Hill is on the field. This offense just keeps humming along. They did just fine against Minnesota and London. They put up some points they were in a really negative game state for almost the whole game after those pick sixes. And they, that makes it tough on them. I think this is going to be a back and forth. I have these teams rated dangerously close to each other. I think the Raiders laying this many points is probably wrong, but I'm not super interested in taking the Saints at a short number in a game where I think it's going to be a real back and forth score fest. So yeah, it's on or over. If this number gets any buyback and you can get a 49, I would bet this in a heartbeat again. So kind of see maybe if you guys have some local bookies, if you guys have some offshores that are a little slow on the get up, if you can find a 49, I would definitely still take that. And yeah, the Saints defense has been bad. It was bad with Lattimore. Like that's important. And yeah, this Raiders offense, if they, like I said, if they start to figure out that they have a top 5 wide receiver on it, it's going to be a really sneaky team that's going to be a real pain in the ass for teams to play later in the year, despite them probably being out of the playoff race.
So did you want to make the over 49.5 official at minus 105, or you got...
Yeah, put it on there. We'll just do it.
All right.
I don't expect this one to be super close. I think this gets, we're saying 64 points. That's the official call.
Birdie says this could be the first game the Saints have their entire offense. Says I can't bet this total. I think the Saints will show up here and the Raiders will struggle here, but respect the folks looking at the over. Coin says this Saints defense been bad for weeks now. Huh, that's interesting, and great job getting the 47.5.